When I see marigolds, that is, if it's not a literal translation, then that vision means that the Blessed Mother is present, and she's pretty significant in that vision, if that's what it is. What that could potentially mean when I see that is that somebody made a prayer or a petition or said a rosary novena or something like that in petition to the Blessed Mother, like ask the Blessed Mother to help them with something. This would be a confirmation that she heard your prayer and she's working on it for you.
Mm.
So, did anybody make an intention with the Blessed Mother that they would need that response to know that it's being worked on?
Recently, but during COVID, I would say the rosary for people with COVID.
Okay, that's what I'm supposed to talk to you next. Um, there is this vision that I have of marigolds, lilies, flowers, and because of the light that's around these flowers, if it's not literal, like we talked about, then I know that that gold light there in the background is connected to the Blessed Mother. When she appears like that, flowers first and then her presence, it means that she has answered prayers because somebody made a literal intention petition to her. And that's when you pray for somebody, when you do a rosary novena, there is no time in heaven, right? There we have time. So back in COVID doesn't matter. You are the only one maybe who made a rosary novena intention or said that for others. You have got to know the blessing on you for doing that and for making that selfless petition to her for others during COVID. Um, that's amazing. And your prayers were answered. They were answered. And I could go through a whole long story of how I know that, but each Hail Mary that you pray is a gift to the Blessed Mother of one rose or one flower, which is why you always see her depicted with flowers around her, because those Hail Marys are a flower that she gets. Now, just in my journey with her, one of the things that I recognized through an experience I had with my daughter who struggled with a recurring tumor in her leg, I was saying rosary novenas for my daughter. I was doing 54-day rosary novenas. And then, people tell you that they pray for your child. And I thought that that was beautiful. One day my daughter and I were sitting there. It was actually on the date of the Assumption of Mary, and we were talking about it being the Assumption of Mary. And then I saw a vision of the Blessed Mother, and she had these bushel of roses and flowers with her. And in the vision, she kept handing one to my daughter, handing another one to my daughter, and she was pulling these flowers out of these bushels of flowers. And in that, every time she would gift my daughter a flower, I would get a vision of the person that prayed for my daughter. And I was like, oh my God, people that said they were going to pray, they actually prayed. Like they literally, like, they went home and they prayed for you. And then I saw a friend of ours who's a younger gentleman, maybe 35, 40, 35 probably now. And when the vision of him came, he had like 4 dozen roses that he was presenting to my daughter, which tells me this person prayed a novena for her. So I called him on the phone and I said, hey, I had this really interesting experience with Marissa today. And the Blessed Mother came, and every person that said a prayer for my daughter, like, it was so beautiful to see how many people prayed. And she would get a flower, a flower, a flower from each of these persons, but they would be directed by the Blessed Mother. And then he was directed by the Blessed Mother and had bushels. And I was like, can I ask you a question? Because I just need some confirmation to know, if I'm understanding that properly. And he's like, yeah. I go, did you pray a novena for Marissa? He's like, yeah, I did the one that you talk about all the time. I did the 54-day rosary novena for her. I almost fell over. So I have to just
Mm,
I don't know how better to like express to you that that is such a recognition for you from heaven, from the Blessed Mother, that she heard your prayer. She did gift your prayer to all of the people that needed that healing, and she thanks you for that. And she wishes more of us would pray and petition for others. And
mm.
so she just, obviously your prayers are being heard. I got a couple you can say for me. Shoot, if they hear you, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
that's wonderful. So there is a lady standing behind you. She feels like a mom. Is your mom in heaven?
Yes.
There, and I can't, the position she's in is mom or grandmom, like mom, grandmom, godmother. That's kind of like my choices from the position where she's standing. But when she came close, she came right up, and I was like, okay. And now I know that I'm supposed to ask you, mom, grandma, godmother. She's like, oh, no, 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 I'm the mom. Just like that. She's like, she didn't even let me go there. She's like, no, 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 I'm the mom. So your mom, I don't care how old you are, your mom thinks you're like 3. Like she just is like doty on you. You know what I mean? And she's grateful for you. I don't know if you're the only child, but are you the only
No.
child that did everything for her?
Yes.
Okay, because like I said, I don't know if you're the only child. Like I hear some buzzing around me in the vision that I am with your mom, but my whole focus is on you because I know if I am focused on you, I will be okay, which means that you're the caregiver, you're the one that did everything for your mom, and she is so grateful for you. Now, what's important about January, June, or July? Any kids or grandkids born at that time? Any birthdays or anniversaries around that time? Because she's talking to me about summer. So if there's no birthdays in those times, then summer is like her favorite time of year, her favorite season, but she's excited about, nope, it's birthdays. Whose birthday is in May, June, or July?
My sister who passed, her birthday was in May.
Oh, she's coming. What's her name?
Donna.
All right, let me give your mom just a moment. Donna, did she have a female cancer that caused her to pass, like breast cancer, uterine, cervical?
No. Mm-mm,
Um,
mm-mm.
what happened to, well, hold on, because I'm feeling really, my body feels very weak with your sister. My body felt stronger with your mom, but weaker with your sister. So what happened with your sister that her whole body would have experienced her death, like her whole body? Like people die of a heart attack or people have a stroke, or but she's including her entire body. And oftentimes that would mean like an autonomic failure or a cancer or a MS, something that takes your
Well, she
body.
was
What?
very young when she passed. She was
Okay.
9, and it was like a brain tumor, so it was neurological, but it
Oh, and
happened
then
very quickly.
okay. And so that brain tumor then affected her whole entire body.
Hmm.
And was it a non-cancerous tumor or
Nobody knows. It was so long ago.
so? Okay. Her description is cancer.
Okay.
So if that's the function of if the tumor in her brain was cancerous, she acknowledges it, and she gives me a reference to her whole entire body, like her whole body. Um, so that actually is a confirmation. um, she is present, and she is present with your mom, but I see her grow. So I don't feel like she lost any time. I think she was vicariously living through y'all. Are there 5 girls in your family or 5 kids in the family?
5
They
kids.
don't all have
Yes.
to be girls, but I'm looking at 5. And
Yes.
so your mom is around you all the time. Your mom, I have to explain. Now, do you have your mom's ring? Did you
I
keep her
do.
ring? Okay. Oh, you are actually literally wearing it. She's like totally making me take off my ring. But okay, so that makes sense. I feel comfortable. That's her. And then your sister, when she shows me herself growing up. So the experiences that you think she didn't get to have, she wants you to know that she had those experiences. And Which one of you guys, when you were young, had a bell on your bike? Because not all of you had a bell on your bike. Um, but I'm hearing, the bell that you have on your bike, like on those older bikes. Like how old are you, Trish? I think you're my
60.
age. Okay,
60.
I'm 54. Oh my God, I'm 54 now. But when we were little, they had those banana seat
Oh,
bikes and
banana
that
seeds.
little,
Yeah.
and they had that little ringer for the bike, like you
Yeah.
had to pull the lever and it would make that noise. Which one of you guys had that kind of bike? Because not all of you had the ringer on your bike. Do you know who that was?
I
Because
don't
that's who your
recall.
sister like vicariously lived through. Like if let's say it was you that
Yeah.
had that when you were young. Then sometimes when you want some ice cream, it's not actually you that wants it, it's your sister that wants it. Like she meshes with you. I think it's you.
Yeah.
Hold
So we
on.
were very
Are
close.
you did you like okay, you were like closest to her or
Yes,
her favorite because it's about you. Did you have that banana seat bike with a ringer on it?
I did.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's you. Basically, she has experienced life through your experience of life. And sometimes you do things because your sister wants you to do them and because there's a dominance of her energy in your body. Um, So she's kind of like tagging along with you, I guess you could
Great.
say. And do you drink tea but not coffee?
I drink both, but I drink a lot of tea.
Okay, because usually people are like one or the other, but she keeps wanting to hand me a cup of tea. And I'm like, okay, so it's more of tea is kind of what she acknowledges. Um, you can
And I
ask
just
your
got back
mom
from
or her
Ireland
any
to visit
questions.
my
Okay.
relatives, so I drank a lot of tea.
Oh, all right. Well, that might be her reference. Because and that is how she handled it. She's like, "Would you like some tea?" And she kind of handed me like the tea glass and everything, which is why I didn't think it was coffee because it was like, the tea. But if you went to Ireland, that would kind of like match my vision and talk to me about tea, which means I guess that they went with you. Um, do you have a brother in heaven?
My mother had a miscarriage and it was a brother. It was my brother, yes.
Okay, because your sister is not alone in the sibling pool in heaven. And
Okay.
she's like talking to me about a brother. So he didn't make it to Earth, but she wants you to know that your brother is over there as well. And reincarnation works in an interesting way. Like it's not us who comes back, right? It's a piece of our soul. So there's never going to be another Nikki in the way that Nikki is right now. But my soul that inhabits the life of Nikki can inhabit the life of maybe I'll be Claire in the next lifetime. And so the essence of me will kind of exist, but my personality and all of that doesn't exist in the next incarnation. But he makes me feel that he's already been reincarnated, like he's here on this earth right now, like a part of his soul, and he's not far from your family.
Oh,
So he's like a nephew potentially.
I just had
Um,
a great nephew born.
yeah, say hello. That's your brother. So if that's, yeah, it does feel like that. And is there a February or August connection for
Yeah.
your family, or what is
Yeah.
that connection? I want to make sure it matches. I need to feel something.
So
So
my
tell me
dad
about
was born in
February and August.
February, and
Okay,
my mom and my sister were both born in August.
perfect. Okay, that's going to give me kind of like my confirmation that the baby that has come to be born again is the soul of your brother.
Oh,
So you guys will, well, you didn't meet your brother like on Earth because he didn't make it, but you'll kind of get this. There will be a special connection because of the essence of his soul. So he'll be like really drawn to you guys. It just feels so um, special, and he's excited to be here.
thank you.
So he's
Great.
both in heaven and on earth. It's, the two. Think of a cheesecake, like your soul is a cheesecake. It's got 8 pieces. All the pieces, they come from the same cake, right? But they're dressed up differently. One has chocolate, one has blueberry. You can think of the reincarnation of us like that. It's all the same pie. It's just split up and in different, decoration, which is our physical human experience. Um, I know that your family has been talking, Trish, about what did you want to cover today? Why did you want to join our group today?
So, I'm just worried about work. Our company was recently purchased,
Hmm.
and it seems like we were purchased by equity partners, so they're all about the money. So I think I might potentially lose my job.
Okay, let me ask your spirit. I'm going to ask your mom, and I'm going to throw a couple cards on it just to see what we're looking at in humanity. So I'm going to go first and connect with you. Your spirit doesn't really think you are going to lose your job. I couldn't get it to go all the way through your chakra system. So sometimes when I ask a person's spirit a question, I asked your spirit, she thinks she's going to lose her job, and I'll have to ask you a couple questions just to confirm. But your soul came up to your heart and then went back down and back down to the root chakra. Do you not really like your job?
It's okay.
It doesn't thrill you though. It doesn't. You're not emotionally connected to it. If
No.
someone gave you $1 million, the first thing you'd drop would be that job.
Yeah, I'm out.
Okay. Here's the thing. If I won $1 million, I would not leave my job. But I love my job, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't leave it. Okay. So basically, what your soul was showing me is that, damn, I'm not going to get laid off. Do you see what I mean? Which means that the job you have is literally to pay your bills. It is not fulfilling. It doesn't bring you so much joy. If you could not work, you'd prefer not to go. And so there's this kind of distinction between the human self and the spirit self. And the spirit self is like, I wish I would get laid off. Like we could, that'd be awesome. Right. So from an emotional or soulful perspective, damn, you're not going to get laid off. So it kind of looks like you may skirt through that layoff and still stay there for a period of time after that. Let's say they do 2 or 3 rounds of layoff, which they may do. You might not make the second round of layoffs, but I'm pretty sure you're going to make it through the first round of layoffs. Now, I'm going to ask your mom, just because I want to see what she has to say.
Mhm.
It's really interesting. I'm not even worried when I talk to your mom. Like when I'm talking to your spirit, I can feel like your spirit would rather not go to this particular job. Um, and so you're going to stay. And then the second round of layoffs, let's say you make it through the first round and you get to the second round and you get laid off, don't worry about it at all. Like literally don't worry about it, because when I talk to your mom, she shows me like, okay, you're coming out the door of your current job because you're laid off. You walk a block and you go into the next door of your next job, meaning you don't have a heck of a lot of time between two jobs if you get laid off. Not that it's down the block, literally, but that there's already something else calling you. So, do you take care of like hospice patients, or what do you do for a living? Because I keep having this energy like you should be nurturing, you should be with old people, you should be helping them transition, you should be talking to them about their final conversations, about their wishes, about what they want, about what do you do for work?
So I was a nurse. So I
Uh-huh.
did, and I work with kids with cancer. But now I work on with a healthcare company that's more business focused, an educational focus. So one of the programs that we offer is for older people to go through, um, their medical wishes. So, what do you want at the end of your life? Do you want to be intubated? Do you want to be on a ventilator? Do you not? These are questions that a lot of people don't want to really ask themselves. But if it's all written out, then you know ahead of time. So, like, we knew with my mother what she wanted and what she didn't want. And everybody should know, everybody should have a choice what they want done to them if they're terminal
Is
or
that like,
accident.
are you like a death doula?
No, no, I'm more no, more like consulting kind of.
By the nature of your person, like you can do the business side that you're doing, but your soul is like really pulling me more closer to the people. Like, okay, so let's say you did that, and I don't want to say death doula, but somebody that connects with them, that goes to the hospital, that talks to them, that asks them all these questions in such this compassionate way. Like and so when you are done with this job, or when this job serves its purpose for you in your life, knowledge in you there's this knowledge in you that people need. So it feels like even if you get laid off in the second round, there's something waiting for you. So I feel like it's timing, and it's divine timing. So in that time that happens, something is already waiting, and it's in that general nursing, end of life, a hospice, a planning. It's all in there. And maybe in your company you run that division. I don't know, how that's going to work out, but that just feels, it's like pulling me. I can't even get away from it. I'm like, it's pulling me. So you might find that the timing of that works out really perfectly. That information is coming from your mom. Your spirit, we talked about what your spirit said. That information came from your mom. But I do want to just throw a couple cards on that too. So give me 1 minute while I pose that question about finances moving forward with this particular job. Yeah. So here's what I see in the cards. If I wouldn't have checked with your spirit, I wouldn't know first round, second round, but I feel like you might glide through the first round and then hit it the second time if they choose to do a second one. According to the cards, um, you're going to get laid off. But you're getting laid off for a job that is non-fulfilling. What is fulfilling, you already have all the tools for, right? Like this is what I pulled. End of one, it's over. But this one, the magician, like you have all the tools to move forward. Where you're moving forward, if you notice like the yellow around the card, this is all solar plexus. This is a description of who I am and how I incorporate who I am into what I do by this red cloak, right? It pulls in our root energy. And then you have this infinity mark over the magician's head, which to me is always the combination of life and death. It's a non-ending cycle. We think it's an end, right? But it's not, right? And so it's just the symbolism here that you have everything you need. And then the fool, people don't, I translate the cards the way your spirit tells me. So if you Google it and it tells you something different, I'm sorry, but I listen to what your spirit says. This is have a leap of faith, go for it. The dream, the thing you want, like go for it. Like now is the time, now is the best. Like when I see this card, I'm ready. Like I'm ready. I got my faith. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to give it a shot. And that's, I believe that polling that I saw, I think that's what these two cards mean. And I think this card says we're coming to an end of this cycle. See? So that's kind of how I feel. So maybe to give you a little cushion, maybe you'll make it through the first round, but it might be. Also, I want to give this other caveat that your sister, what's your sister's name? Donna?
Donna. Hmm.
So when I talk to your sister, she's like, she, she's kind of like, well, Nikki, you're kind of right. Like you're kind of there. Another thing that can happen is, let's say you do make it through the layoff. This opportunity is going to present itself anyway. When it presents itself, quit your job and take it. Do you see what I'm saying? It's coming anyway
Okay.
because I'm being pulled, and I don't get like my whole soul is being pulled towards you. That doesn't happen, right?
Mhm.
So then when your sister tells me when she comes close into my energy, she's like, she's got to be ready to bail when it's time to bail, which means, oh, you might not get laid off and you just may have to leave because this thing is presenting itself or it appears in your future and you need to jump on it and take it, just let go of the other thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome.